figure out what people love about working at your school and what it would take for them to stay even longer. But today I'd just like to share a practical idea that you might, as leaders and potential leaders, consider moving forward. But many of us in this room are either responsible for recruitment and retention, or we could be in the near future. And there is a lot of research to suggest that we might be better off considering some of our current practices, especially when it comes to retention. In international education, staff turnover is inevitable, but in many cases, I think there's a lot more that we can do to keep hold of great teachers and valuable employees. And one particular colleague of mine comes to mind when I think about this. This is a teacher who has made an incredible contribution to the school environment, immeasurable impact, great with the students, great with colleagues, and will go above and beyond for the school. And with this particular teacher, in the last year, there were some subtle changes, in their disposition and in their manner. It was nothing alarming. It didn't impact the work in any way. We all go through ups and downs, and we're always there for each other. And it's important that we build that supportive culture. But something was definitely different. And as is normal in international education, our teachers need to declare their intent to stay with the school or move on come mid-December. And when this particular colleague declared that they were moving on, there were some raised eyebrows and definitely a deep sense of regret that we were going to lose this really valuable employee. Fast forward a few months and it's time for the exit interview. And this teacher shared the reasons, for not wanting to return. And frustratingly, these are things within the school's control. We definitely could have made some small changes or adjustments, to make things a little bit better for this teacher. And some things may have taken some time. Some of them might not have been possible. That's always the case. But we definitely knew that if we had spoke to this teacher a little bit earlier, we might have been able to respond. But by the time the exit interview comes around, it's too late and we know we've lost a valuable member of our team. Research also suggests that people won't always be honest with you and tell you everything in an exit interview, especially when it's done in a one-to-one interview setting. So why is the exit interview such common practice? A lot of you in this room might have experienced situations where teachers who were close friends and colleagues leave at the same time. And that's because turnover contagion is a real thing. A teacher might consider leaving and they might discuss this with a friend, and all of a sudden you've got 2 or 3 teachers who might start looking at potential vacancies and have their head turned. And don't get me wrong, 0 turnover is not the goal, it's not ideal, but if we want to retain our teachers, I think we can and we should do more. So current research tells us that we can do better. One of my favourite authors and speakers who's not from the educational world, Adam Grant, made me rethink our entire process about staff retention. What the evidence shows is that it's really critical to check in with people before they have any indications that they're considering leaving. And this is where the stay interview comes into play. So the main goal of a stay interview is to show people that you're invested in them and that you want to help them, you want to learn what you can do to improve their teaching and ways you might improve the school on a wider scale. So stay interviews to give us opportunity to ask teachers why they stay. What is it they love about the job? What is it they love about your school? What are the things that you can amplify to make your school such a great place to work? Even better, ask them what it would take to retain them in the future. That gives you the time and opportunity to respond to the things that this teacher is really particularly wanting to see from their role, from the school, from the community, and it gives you a chance to put some things in place. For example, many teachers probably interested in leadership opportunities, in specific professional development. You might want to start some new initiatives or want mentoring in a particular area. If we can use stay interviews effectively, you've got an opportunity to show teachers that we care about them and show them that they're valued. On a broader, deeper level, this is just another tool that we can use to instill a culture of trust, to show teachers that we're willing to listen, discuss, and have open dialogue. Of course, it's important to act on the information that teachers share with us, so follow through is our responsibility. And realistically, we can't satisfy everybody and everything. But even when you can't, the research shows that employees appreciate the opportunity to have these conversations and they're happier as a result, even if we can't fulfill the things that they want to see. I think too many times we just go through the motions. A teacher tells us to leave, we try to convince them, sometimes unsuccessfully, and then we advertise their position and recruit. International teachers don't stay forever, but if you can invest in them and keep them longer, it gives you the opportunity to build strong foundations that ultimately result in better learning opportunities for our students. We take the time to talk to teachers during the year rather than in an exit interview. We can understand what makes them happy, and we can learn how to help them and potentially reduce unwanted turnover and help create a collaborative, trusting culture. So to summarize, my pearl is scrap the exit interview. It's too late, and by then you've lost a valuable teacher. Instead, make the time for stay interviews during the year. Figure out what people love about working at your school and what it would take for them to stay even longer. Then act on that information to help build an environment that ultimately supports student learning, because they're the ones that deserve it.